Hi, I'm Nick, and I'm obviously running behind on today's episode here at 10 Minutes with Nick. Today's episode is brought to you by me running way behind because I'm a disorganized pig. A disorganized pig. But I do have a good one for you today. At least I think so. So the OnlyFans video I posted last week did get some engagement. And sort of the engagement you would have imagined. Several comments were left that weren't necessarily the most flattering to the individuals who left them. And I mean that in an intellectual way. I didn't see any photos of the individuals. I'm sure they're fine looking individuals. But one I particularly wanted to talk about because I wanted to make a point about it. Essentially, what the comment said was OnlyFans is the new real estate. You do that when you have nothing else to offer the world. Well, that is a bold statement. That is a bold statement from an unnamed OnlyFans user. Sorry, an unnamed YouTube user. To leave a comment like that is to sort of declare to the world that I don't necessarily have the rhetorical skills to back up what I'm saying, so I'm just going to make some sort of outlandish statement. An outlandish statement was certainly made. Now, granted, I did a whole episode about what it is about OnlyFans that should leave us a bit disquieted. And, that's perfect. I think I still stand by my opinion. I still stand by that it's valid. But what I don't stand by is the dehumanization of people who go into any line of work, whether I agree with it or find it disquieting or not. Why is that? Why am I against the dehumanization? Well, first of all, because we shouldn't be dehumanizing people. It's not a thing we should engage in, nor is it productive. The other thing that we need to consider is that when you dehumanize someone, you sort of say to them that, well, even I don't like your chosen profession, but it's all you're good for. And I don't think that's true for anybody. In fact, that's a little bit of a sad state of affairs if we are to say to somebody, there is only one thing you can possibly do in this entire universe. Actors sort of get this advice a lot to say that, if you're going to act, make sure it's the only thing that you want to do in this entire world and that you can't possibly do anything else. That's a terrible piece of advice. And it's a little bit in reverse when you say to somebody, all you can offer to the world is, for example, your body. Now, I don't really know. The connection to the real estate was a bit tenuous to me, right? Because real estate sales is actually a bit of a skill. It takes some skill to get somebody to part with $400,000 for a house, particularly as house prices continue to go up and up and up. And it takes some skill to be a real estate agent, and it takes some skill to figure that stuff out and know the legalities of what you need to do and actually sell the physical house. The dehumanization aspect of it is the most disquieting thing about that comment, though, because let's apply that logic to other areas. And actually, we do apply that logic in other areas, unfortunately. Let's look at, for example, and I've made this post before, let's talk about immigration. And specifically, we're going to talk about illegal immigration. Legal immigration is both annoying, and I don't think anybody's arguing that it's a bad thing. When we talk about illegal immigration, we typically talk about illegal immigration writ large. And we talk about illegal immigrants as people who have broken the law. Technically speaking, they are criminals. But that's because when you've broken the law, you fall into the definition of a criminal, which is one who has broken the law. I should say criminal is one who has been convicted of breaking the law. But again, if you rob a bank in broad daylight and your face is on camera while you're robbing that bank, the likelihood of you not being a criminal is very low. But just because you're a criminal, it doesn't mean you're not human. It certainly means that there are issues we need to address and that there's something we need to work on going forward. But it doesn't mean you're not human, and it doesn't mean you're not deserving of basic rights and dignity. There's very few crimes in the world where I would say that you lose any right to the basic tenets of human dignity. Very few. And none of them involve, none of them involve monetary issues, right? Like if you rob a family blind, okay? I don't really consider that a monetary crime. I consider that if you rob a family blind knowingly and willingly do it to deprive them of their money, I don't consider that a crime against money. I consider that a crime against a person. You rob a bank, you know, there's issues with, you can't have a sliding scale of humanity in general. You sort of have to, you have to make a decision as a society what makes you non-human anymore. And the reason I brought up illegal immigration and sort of went off into that fancy land of trying to describe what criminals are and are not worthy of human dignity is because this dehumanization aspect that the commenter brought up, when you apply that to other areas, for example, illegal immigration, you get massive problems. For example, rather than saying, well, what are the issues that these human beings are dealing with that are driving them to cross the border, you treat them as, well, as President Trump once said, as vermin. And they're not. Vermin are the sorts of things that you eradicate in a city because they tend to carry disease and cause problems for the human beings who live there. They are not human beings who are fleeing war-torn countries. Now, granted, some of the people who are crossing the border illegally may be involved in child trafficking, and if they are, they do not deserve humanity. But I think it's wrong for us to, just because of a circumstance, assume away someone's humanity. And that's where I think the OnlyFans commenter got it wrong. He is assuming away the humanity of those who work in OnlyFans or work in the OnlyFans space because of what they do. Now, granted, they did make the choice to work OnlyFans, but they have a lot of customers who are driving the demand for that. It's not, if there's a race to the bottom of a lack of humanity, it's probably not the young guy or girl who thought to themselves that they could potentially make a living, a better living than their parents. I would say it's probably the subscriber looking for the video of the young guy or girl that they can sort of creep on and watch or message and have the girlfriend experience or the boyfriend experience or whatever. It's a complicated and thorny issue. Truthfully, it could have a podcast all on its own. I don't know how you would do that because you really couldn't have that podcast. You couldn't have that podcast really non-hypocritically without engaging with OnlyFans, and that would almost automatically make it hypocritical. I don't know. But it would be interesting to discuss those issues more in depth. I don't know who is qualified. I'm certainly not. I have a law degree and a master's degree, and I'm learning how to be an actor. Truthfully, none of that qualifies me to be the settler of this debate, although it does qualify me to wade into waters that I have no business being in. It's what I often do. It's why I have a podcast where I meander about my thoughts for 10 minutes. Although, because we're running late today, we're probably going to end this episode a little bit early. We're probably going to be about 30 seconds early. Anyways, to those who comment on my videos, thank you. I appreciate you, regardless of if I agree with you or not. I hope you comment again and enjoy the content. If you do, like and subscribe. If you don't enjoy it, well, I won't lose sleep over it, though I will cry. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Whatever you do, don't assume away someone's humanity. Always assume their humanity. I'm Nick. This is 10 Minutes with Nick. Have a great day.